All right, welcome back, fellow Shopify entrepreneurs. It's a great day today because Shopify Summer 24 Editions has released the best time of year, in my opinion. Editions is Shopify's twice a year product release. And this summer, 24, we see that this year's Shopify Summer Editions 24 is called the bubbles move! Sorry, I'm a fellow Shopify entrepreneur like yourself, and if we're looking at product CSVs all the time and spreadsheets and the Shopify admin, I'm gonna freak out a little bit about some bubbles moving on Shopify Edition. Like I was saying, this one is so satisfying. Like I was saying, Summer 24 Editions has released. And keeping up to date with all of Shopify's latest and greatest updates every month, every editions is extremely important in maintaining your competitive advantage and brainstorming what to do next. This year's Summer 24 edition is themed Unified, as we can see here. And I'm excited to get into all this. Last summer, in Summer 23 editions, we had an excellent editions released from Shopify. You can check my channel out for that. One of the main reasons it made this so great is because Shopify introduced Shopify Magic and Shopify Sidekick. This is when AI was starting to take over and was starting to be introduced to all industries. And Shopify Magic is Shopify's AI suite of products, and Shopify Sidekick is the cream of the crop Shopify AI product that they have. This was all introduced in Summer 23 editions, which made Imagine My Business, the Summer 23 Imagine editions, excellent. Then Winter 24 editions just a few months ago came out, and in my opinion, it was a little bit of a letdown. You know, when you have a really good movie and then they make the sequel and it never lives up to the original, that's kind of what I felt with Winter 24 editions Foundations, just because I was expecting a lot more progress on all their AI promises and their AI front that they introduced on Summer 23, and we didn't really get that. But now we have these floating bubbles, and we have Summer 24. We're 1 year out from those AI announcements, and we see a lot of brand new products. In my opinion, this is quite a good addition. There's a lot of great content in here for everyone, whether you're brand new or you're experienced. So this is quite a long video. Make sure you're in the right mindset, ready to learn. Save it to your watch later if you don't have time now. Without further ado, let's get into Unified. This shop bubble in particular is extremely satisfying. All right, so we're gonna scroll down here, and the first thing we see is Mr. Glenn Coates. This is Mr. Glenn Coates. He's the vice president of product at Shopify, and so he's always on the forefront of these things. And this is what we're gonna cover today. So on the right here, this is the way they formatted it this year, and we can see all of our topics that we're going to look into. And so what's interesting to note about editions is the hierarchy at which they introduce their content. This is a giant long form. We're going to go through all of this, moving down the page this way. But the things that they introduce first and foremost and second in these main blocks are usually the biggest deal. And we'll get into these in detail. So the first thing we see is a huge update. This is probably the biggest update, as we can see in the hierarchy, for markets. Huge admin update. The name of markets is changing, and we have a lot of features coming. We have a brand new split shipping, split fulfillment in checkout update. That's pretty interesting. We have some great updates here when it comes to Shopify Magic, Shopify AI, and this is Sidekick right here. So it's always interesting to see what they've done in the last year since they introduced that last summer, Summer 23 edition. So can't wait to get into that. We seem to have a new analytics dashboard. It's so much more colorful. We have some information here for developers, and on this channel I don't cover anything with developers. This is just for merchants. This is for merchants and fellow Shopify entrepreneurs. And so if you're looking into updates about hydrogen or utopia or oxygen or any of these things, I won't be covering that really at all on this channel. We see some updates to Markets Pro here. We see an update for POS, a new ship to and from retail stores. Interesting. We see a new update and a new piece of Shopify POS hardware here, and some updates for receipts and return rules and sales data. And then we get into it. As we can see, we have a number in the top left corner that introduces all of the 150 plus updates that they're introducing in this Summer 24 editions. And so let's get started. Okay, so the biggest update coming Summer Editions 24 is a completely reimagined markets segment. So we have three little updates here, and they all talk about the same thing. So as we know, markets, there is a way that you can set specific languages, shipping rules, currency, and control the markets in which you sell to in your e-commerce store. This has been completely reimagined, and what they're doing here is they're reimagining the admin to look very different, to bring it to the forefront out of the settings, but they're also trying to reintroduce markets in a whole different way. As we know, running Shopify stores, if you want to look into your markets, you go to your settings and then you go to your markets. This is completely changing. So your markets is coming to the side of your admin, and it's going to look something like this. This is quite interactive additions this year. I like it. And so it says, get a complete picture of your business operations, access, manage, and complete your markets and preview customizations all from your dashboard or your Shopify admin. So as we can see on the left here, you see our home page for markets, which then can be clicked into a specific market. And this is where we can customize our currency, our web page, our domain. And then from that specific market, we can customize our retail operations in that market. We can customize our B2B operations in the market. I won't be referring too much to B2B in this because B2B is a plus feature. And so for us Shopify entrepreneurs, we don't have to worry about B2B at all. But this still does impact us quite greatly. So this update leads to this article that was published the other day. And this is a great way of looking at the new market. So instead of markets, you're thinking of markets as just your international countries and setup. We can now look at markets as not talking about B2B, but talking about our international settings and also our retail. Now, of course, if you don't have retail, you can still just think of markets as your international, but there is still a huge update for the admin and how to control those operations, even if you don't have retail, and most of us won't have B2B on this. And so it's kind of summarized well in this sentence. Markets enables growth not only via international expansion, that's what we previously did, but also through retail and B2B. And as it says, B2B is only available in Plus plans. And so it says previously cross-border B2B and Shopify POS were spread out across the Shopify platform. And so now this is all combined. And this is an example of what I suppose the new admin is going to look like. As we can see, there's the B2B component down here. There's a subsection for retail, your US retail, your UK retail, if you have that. But then you have your regions and your markets right here. Within each of your regions, you can open up your B2B and your retail operations. But for us beginner Shopify entrepreneurs and core Shopify entrepreneurs, we would most likely be focusing on these subsections or our regions in our market setting. And so what can markets do if you're new to the term? It lets you customize your list of products and their associated prices and their associated currency. It lets you customize your store's theme, because you can set up your store's theme to look completely different depending on the market. It allows you to set the currency for the market, the language for the market, the content, that's kind of the same thing as theme, I suppose, the domains for the market, and the business entities, etc. And so we have some screenshots about what this new market setup is going to look like. If I zoom in, they're quite blurry and I can't click this, but basically Shopify recently introduced market-specific analytics. And so now they're introducing a completely new markets dashboard. And so if you combine these two, we can see the markets here located at the top. This says United States, this says US retail, this says United Kingdom, this says UK retail with their specific analytics. And this is a dashboard of all of the other ones with specific analytics going this way. In this picture, the key takeaway is that this is the order or the products tab. And then there's a column here that says markets, and it says UK or B2B or US B2B. It says Shopify Plus here in the corner, but this feature is coming to all stores. I guess this is what was in Shopify Plus. And that's exactly the point of all these updates, because with Shopify, an update usually starts with early access, and then maybe it's released to Plus. And then there's a slow expansion to other plans, and then it gets released maybe to another country or another language, and then it all kind of filters down eventually. So knowing about these right away really gets you prepared and gets you brainstorming. And so there is a nice little optimization here. If you ever wanted to add a new market, you can simply create the new market from the old market's conditions by just tweaking the existing ones. So again, this is a good example of what you can achieve in market specific. The currency that it's selling in, the catalog, the products specific to that market, what your online store looks like the current theme or the current website design per the market, the domain, the language, and etc. I think this is one way that Shopify can itself make a lot more money, because if a lot of more merchants were using POS software, or a lot more merchants were considering B2B and Plus, or were eligible for that, Shopify can make a lot more money. I think the grand majority of Shopify merchants just have their online store, maybe a retail location or a pop-up every once in a while, and markets can still just mean the specific regions around the world that you are selling to. But just keep in mind that we have a whole new market setup, a whole new market admin coming, and so this will also impact you. This is kind of an interesting feature with Shop. pay and shop accounts. There's a new ability to allow customers to enter and sign in sooner. This is kind of different than customer accounts on the website, but instead uses the customer's shop account so that they can sign in securely in one click and save their information for faster checkouts and all these sorts of things. These are very interactive this year. Look, I can continue as Stella, and then this is kind of what it would look like. There's a little avatar in the corner that I mentioned, and then it would save my shipping details and my account details, and it could use if I have any shop cash in that account. There's a whole lot of benefits for merchants and customers to use Shop, and so that's a fun little update there. Okay, so in my opinion, this update here in pink is much bigger than this update with the avatars, and so I'll spend a little bit of time talking about this now. But the update says a built-in taxonomy to power products. So it says we've rebuilt our product taxonomy with over 10K categories and over 2K attributes to supercharge discovery across your store, search, and marketplaces using powerful AI. So this is a product update, an AI update, and it impacts everyone. The keyword here is product taxonomy. It's kind of a fancy word, but this is just talking about what your product is categorized as. This means like, what color is the product? What is the product? What is the product made of? What is the size of the product? What is the product material on one area? What is the product material on another area? What kind of customizations does it have? And so we see some examples of this, like pet friendly, or maybe it's made with mesh, or maybe it has a padded section. One of the features on it can be an adjustable arm rest. Maybe the product is made of wool. Maybe one feature of the product is that it can swivel. We have some colors here. It can be black, or the color could be tie-dye, or it could have stars on it. Maybe one product is waterproof. This is kind of what product taxonomy is about. It's a combination of categories and attributes that describe what the product is. And so this is kind of how your product can be found. It can be found on your store. It can be found if someone searches, not just the product name, but any of these attributes, categories, colors, materials. And it's also how it's found on marketplaces like the shop channel. And so this is the update that we are going to see. This is the updated product, Shopify's product taxonomy. And this is found in your product page. So on your Shopify admin, if you create a new product, there's a new section below it that says category metafields. And anything in purple here, purple is just becoming synonymous with Shopify Magic. Shopify Magic is Shopify's group of AI products. So what they're doing is they're using their Shopify Magic and their Shopify AI with their new product taxonomy, and they're grouping them together. And so these category metafields are automatically generated based on your product title, your description, maybe your images that you've added above this section here for your products. And it's recommending with its AI these metafields, like the type, like the features, like the color. And then we see some some color swatches here, like the material. These are recommended, and you can add these or decline. One fun thing about these categories and these product attributes is with the color. This is how you can easily add color swatches to your store instead of like using an app or finding a theme that adds color swatches. The colors are kind of based on the colors that you set on the product, and you can put in custom RGB or hex codes for these specific colors to match exactly. And then the end result would be something like this. We can see the color swatches on the product here. And so it kind of talks about the benefits of this, but the main idea is discoverability, classification, creation, and streamlining this for you. Instead of you putting in colors and you putting in materials and tags and these sort of things, AI is kind of doing this for you, and this helps easier cross-channel selling and finding your product across marketplaces and all these sort of things. So it's a huge update. And if you're making a new product, you'll see this right away, and you'll just continue on the product creation flow on Shopify as you usually do, as normal. But if you have existing products that you need to add this to, you'll have to go into each product and you'll have to add the recommendations. Again, they're not automatically added to all your products. That's just something I found out. So this is a huge update. Definitely take a look at this on your admin, because product categorization, I don't really like the word taxonomy. Yeah, that's a hard word. No one really understands it. So, but product attributes, product descriptions is more accurate. And this is what this update is all about. I think it's a huge, huge deal. We have another update here when it comes to the search and discovery app about image filters for search. And it says you can help customers more quickly find the right products by filtering based on logos, icons, and other images in the Search and Discovery app. The Search and Discovery app is a free made and developed Shopify app that helps show the correct products to the customers depending on their search results. It actually has quite a lot of features in it. It's quite a robust app. I think most people would be using it already, but if you're not, check it out. This update here is not as straightforward as it seems. Adding product filters to your store kind of relies on the theme you're using, the meta field setup, and then the integration of the app. And so it's not super straightforward. As we saw a few months ago in the Shopify changelog, the color swatch update that we saw just now in the taxonomy, when that was released, it was quite difficult to implement because, again, it kind of was based on your theme and if it was applicable and all these kind of things. And so there's this little update here if you're into it and if your business would be better off by having customers search on logos and icons and other images. Definitely check that out. It's quite heavily promoted as it's at the top of this update. We have a very large segment here, and this is for some app called the Combined Listings app. However, this is just a plus update. Maybe one day it'll come down to regular plans and not a plus exclusive, as we can see here. But the Combined Listing app, it's kind of a way of taking multiple products and creating a single product for that. It's almost kind of like a bundle. And we have the Shopify Bundles app and many bundling apps, so maybe look into that. But I'm not going to spend that much time on that because I don't cover plus on this channel. We have a nice little update here in this big blue square, and then is store credit on Shopify. So it says you can issue store credit to customers directly in the admin, view balances and transaction history, and enable customers to spend the credit at checkout. So that's kind of fun. This is actually not something that's released right now. This says that it's in early access, but it's coming now, and you can sign up for early access, I think, somewhere. But this is just another form of customer retargeting. And the basic idea here is that it's a lot more expensive to acquire a new customer than just retain an old one and have them buy from you again. And so before, store credit, it looks like there were only a couple of ways you could do this. You could do this with gift cards and you can do this with discount codes. Now in between there, they're implementing store credit, and store credit are different than gift cards and obviously way different than discount codes. And they can be used in different ways. I think one of the biggest differences between store credit and gift cards is that you can view the balance of the customer's account's store credit from their account instead of looking up maybe a customer's gift card amount. And so that just brainstorms a lot of different marketing ideas and retention ideas and issuing store credit as goodwill gestures and marketing automations and all kinds of things. Okay, now we do have a very large update here, and this is about store performance and site speed. And so the update says, identify how changes you've made to your store impact its performance, such as app uninstalls, theme updates, and new code. Okay, so this is talking about site speed and site performance, and this has been undergoing a lot of changes lately meaning the last year or so. And so basically what we're looking at here is a very basic visualization of your store's performance over time. Performance in this case meaning your site speed and your site responsiveness. So essentially with site speed is you would have a baseline, and this above this would be bad and below this is good. And then depending on customer's location and the customer's device and the customer's internet connection, those things you can't really control. But what you can control is your website's size and how it performs and how many apps are installed and how much code is in it. And this impacts if your site loads well or not. Within the site speed performance metrics, there's three main attributes. These three attributes are loading speed. This is defined by the largest contentful paint, or LCP. Then there's interactivity, which is defined as the interaction to next paint, or INP. And then there's visual stability, which is the cumulative layout shift, CLS acronym. So these are the three main measurements that go into determining your site speed. And you would have three graphs for each of those three metrics. What it's showing here now is there's a 3 and there's a 1 here. And so essentially what would happen is if you see your site speed and your site performance peak upwards like this, and it's associated with a number like this, you would be able to see and click on this 1, for example, to see what changes, what code edits, what app installs, or what theme updates, or what images or videos or anything were added that day that negatively impacted your site's performance, causing this massive spike. Then, for example, if we find out that this 1 update here is causing a problem, and then a few days later we perform some updates here with 3, and we found that this performance went down, meaning that it reacted faster, which is good. This is how we can use this information. So before, instead of just having, numbers on a graph, this is good or bad and kind of figure it out yourself, we now have this new feature here, which will show us exactly what kind of took place that day and how we can manage it if it has seriously negatively impact our store's performance. In my opinion, this is a great update. You can definitely see the day and the performance related to that day. However, keep in mind that, in my opinion, site speed is a little bit overrated. And it's it's a topic that can cause a lot of concern for beginner entrepreneurs for no reason. The main thing that you should take away for site speed reporting and metrics and these analytics for web performance is you should only really be worrying about this if you've noticed that many customers from many locations across many devices and many internet connections are all kind of reporting to you that your site is not loading. They can't complete checkout, the page is not loading. That could be a theme issue specific for pages, but if you're finding a consistent trend, multiple people telling you across multiple devices are telling you that it's not loading, that's when you want to look into your site speed. All three of these metrics have these indicators. We have a good, we have a moderate, and we have a poor. And on the Shopify admin, the good is blue, the moderate is yellow, and the red indication would be poor. Your goal should never be to always be looking at this every day and making sure all three of these categories should be in the good. Because especially when you're starting out and you're just making your store, if you're optimizing your site for speed every time you add something, that's counterproductive and that takes a lot of time and that doesn't make a lot of sense. You might want to look into site speed, periodically through the year to make sure nothing terrible has happened. But just keep in mind, as you're building your site and you're adding more images, more videos, more GIFs, more content, more products, more pages, this will add content to your site. And the more content to your site could mean that it could be slower. And so the update here is helpful to introduce these kind of topics. If you're interested, you can go to your online store and right above your theme library, there's like a little section here that shows these ratings. And you can look into the report and it'll look like something like this. But in my opinion, the way you use this is if you notice a drastic spike reported by a lot of people on different devices and locations and internet connections, maybe take a look at what happened that day and see if there's a subsequent edit, code edit, app edit, theme update that can be adjusted to re-optimize your site's performance. This is also an average, and so it doesn't mean that every single customer logging in is experiencing this speed, or every single customer logging in is experiencing this speed. You actually see these line graphs and these bars that show you different visits over time, and that's why you should take these things as a grain of salt, but it's always good to know, and it's an interesting update to show. Okay, we have another interesting update here. We have some updates here about draft orders in the shop, some new updates to the search and discovery app. But what caught my eye is this one here, Semantic Search on more plans. And so Semantic Search lets your customers search for products in a way that is more intuitive to them. Semantic Search, one of Shopify's AI-powered storefront search features, goes beyond keyword matching and better understands your customer's intent, returning more relevant search results. So this is kind of one step above keywords and search intented questions. This is using AI to understand the motive behind the keywords and the motive behind the question to better match products and results to the customer. This is what Semantic Search is. Semantic Search and Shopify's AI go hand in hand. So this is important because Semantic Search was introduced in a previous edition. It was introduced in Winter 24 edition, actually, so not too long ago. And we can see Semantic Search introduced here in the Search and Discover app. That's what this icon means. But we can see that at the time, this was only exclusive to Shopify Plus. Now we can see the consistent trend. And that's why it's always important to stay updated on Shopify's new features, updates, apps, toys, because these updates are usually launched to a small group of people, either that be an early access sign up, or in this case, we can see Shopify Plus, usually it's Shopify Plus, and then it filters down to more plans, and then it filters down to possibly more countries, or filters down to possibly more languages, and this is kind of how Shopify works. So we were introduced to the topic last winter, a few months ago, to Semantic Search in the Search and Discovery app, which was only exclusive to Shopify Plus at the time. Now, this caught my eye, and now we can see that it is being introduced to more plans. And as we can see here, Semantic Search is now offered at this time to Shopify plans, advanced plans, and plus plans. We see it moving down. We don't see it on the basic plan yet, as we can see progress with the updates, and that's how usually all these things go. Another little update maybe worth mentioning is this right here under data and content, number 15. It says bulk import and export meta fields. So you can now product import and export now supports product meta fields, making it easier than ever to manage your product meta fields in bulk. So product meta fields, as it says, are specific content for specific products. And so what it's saying here is when you're bulk import or edit or exporting meta fields using a product CSV, there's now a new column for the product meta field. And depending if that product has the content to it, it'll be filled out or not filled out. And then when you bulk import or export your meta fields come with you. So that's actually a small update, but I think that's a super big update if it was never mentioned before. All right, so we'll take a little bit of time to explore some of the POS updates here. It looks like they talk about easy receipts, return sales, sales data, talk about return rules, customer options, and staff attribution options. One of the new updates here is for POS Pro. With POS stands for point of sale, and on POS there's two types. There's POS Lite and there's POS Pro, which is usually more money if you sign up for POS Pro. So on POS Pro, there is a new feature where you can manage the customer information that you acquire at checkout here. And also you can name the employee. Oh, look how interactive this is, to who actually made the sale. This is obviously important if you're in sales or there's commissions and these sort of things. So we'll leave it on Kathy there for now. And that's how you can do it within the Shopify admin, Shopify POS. Another update here is kind of fun to look into. So it says effortless email capture with Shop Pay. And so the update says all retailers can offer one-tap digital receipts that auto-suggest the customer's email from Shop Pay and give them the option to subscribe to marketing. So if they have Shop Pay, it auto-suggests that for digital receipts. But it also says that if you have digital receipts, it'll give them an option to send your digital receipt to your email. And then if they choose that method, a customer account is created for them, which can be an interesting solution if you wanted to capture more customer data. There's a quick little snippet here that says, your customer can also choose email receipt, text receipt, print receipt, or no receipt, and says if your customer chooses a digital receipt option, being one of these, then a customer account is created for them. That can be beneficial for both the customer and the business. And also it says if the customer has a shop account and the payment method they used matched their shop account, then the send to shop app option is displayed as a receipt option as well. So you can send the receipt to the shop app as well. So this is all encompassing, you know, shop POS, shop in-person order, and then the shop app and the shop accounts. This update here is talking about the new markets update again. So it's saying that you can have unique catalogs for each retail store. So this is kind of the same way with if you're selling online and you have different products attached to different markets online, you can now have unique catalogs for each retail store, and you can adjust that with the new retail market setup as we were discussing earlier. This update is talking about return rules for the point of sale. And it also shows us the POS system. So a couple things here. So the update says streamline your in-store returns with rules, return rules. Staff can quickly determine whether or not a product can be returned, and customers can clearly know why. So this is kind of already a thing when your online store. It's just saying what items can be returned. Say there's a clearance item, and clearance items can't be returned their final sales, you would set this up with return rules, which would indicate to the merchant and also the customer at the time of the purchase and during the returns that this is a final sale, you can't return it. Some of the other return rules is talking about is the return windows, return shipping costs, restocking fees. For example, you can have returns set for specific time periods. You can set your return shipping costs. And then like I was kind of talking about final sale items that can't be returned, and then restocking fees if there's a little bit of a return percentage. Always have these rules in your policies as well. But this is kind of interesting. If you've never seen the POS, this is kind of what it looks like. So, you know, this is just a simple iPad, and the Shopify POS point of sale is just an app that can be downloaded on a mobile device like that. And then, you know, to take orders in person, you would have some sort of payment capture device, and there's all kinds of hardware for that. So in this case, we have an order, and it looks similar to, you know, the order screen in the admin. We can see the order number, and if it's paid or fulfilled or unfulfilled on the left, we can see the shipping, and we can see the items and the quantity and the receipt on the right and the return and the exchanges. And then so this is exactly what it's showing us. We're seeing the return rules. So we can see that this ticking clock on the bottom is marked as a final sale or like a clearance item. And so it is no longer eligible to be returned. So I guess if I click this, it gives us a little update here that says completing a return within eligible items will require manager approval. And this is kind of what it's talking about with the specific rules for specific products. Very handy, especially if you're in the fashion industry and you're selling a lot of clothing. They become very specific. Or also in the perishable good industry, can also be very specific. These are so interactive. Look at all the things I can click. So another quick little update for POS is that the retail customers can add a BXGY discount, a buy X, get Y discount. These are super versatile because they're buying X, which is a variable, which can be anything, and they can get Y, another variable, which can really be anything. But this is just saying that it's kind of becoming easier to do that from the POS specific. So it says entice your retail customers with BX, get Y discount codes, which can be added directly to the POS smart grid for easy implementation. And so here we go. I like these little demos. So if you've never seen the POS again, this is what it looks like. And if you keep hearing the word smart grid, this is the smart grid. These are editable and clickable, obviously, tiles, which create a grid, which creates your smart grid. So in this case, it looks like we can click add a discount. Ooh, look at that. And we can see the BOGO discount has been added here and here, making this free, and they can remove that just like so. That's just great. See, can I click checkout? I can't click checkout. And then we have our receipt option, send the receipt, and we have a bunch of order information there. How fun is that? Kind of talking about the way Shopify introduces updates is the POS and the Shopify app kind of receive all the updates last. So it always kind of starts on by plan or by country or by language, and then it extends to more countries or more plans or more languages or more systems, meaning the online store, the admin, the POS, and then the app as well. So we see a lot of these updates that aren't new if you've never used a POS before, because obviously there are BX get Y discounts on the admin. And in this update here, number 22, we can stack discounts in store. So this is talking about combining discounts into one single order. You can do that on the admin already. And there's certain combinations of discounts that you can use and can't combine. But this update is just telling you that you can stack discounts in store for a single purchase. And it kind of looks like this. You know, we have one discount code, 10% off sale weekend discount code here. We have a $20 flat discount taken off of this vase with the discount code display model, $20 off for a display model. And then we have a VIP discount here, and it's combining all these discounts. We have some other POS updates here that I'm not going to get into all of them. You can pause the video here and take a look if you'd like. One thing I do want to mention is this term here, stocky. So in 23, it says the new update says new extensions from the smart grid. Remember, we learned about the smart grid right here. That's what the smart grid is. It says you can track key. It says there's new extensions for the smart grid where you can track key inventory workflows with the new stocky UI extensions for receiving purchase orders. So the stocky UI, or just Stocky, is a Shopify free made and developed app, and it's used for in-person inventory transfers and inventory tracking. And so if you've never heard of that, or if you're in POS and you want a sophisticated way of tracking your inventory and tracking your transfers, you can look into the Stocky app. It's free. It's made by Shopify. And so it looks like there's a new Smart Grid Stocky UI extension being added to the Smart Grid here. All right, so we have a whole section here on wholesale. Wholesale means B2B. B2B. Very good. And so I usually don't cover B2B because B2B is a plus feature. However, we do have a huge update here. I'm going to make a whole video about this actually because it's very important, but we have a new theme. Everyone knows what a theme is, the thing that you choose to design your store. And this new theme is a free made and developed theme by Shopify called Trade. If you go to the Shopify app theme store right now, you'll notice there's a new theme called Trade, and it's now available. This theme is made for B2B. It says it's easily set up for B2B stores with an out-of-the-box theme designed for repeat and bulk purchasing. So B2B is business to business. It's most commonly found where suppliers are selling to businesses who are creating the goods. Say a business is creating this chair and they need like 100 skids of this red velvet material. They're going to go to a supplier that makes that so that they can make their chairs or however their manufacturing process works. That's kind of what B2B is. It's not retail. And so there's a few things here. This is a new theme and it's available now for free on the Shopify App Store. It is made for B2B. Okay, it has B2B specific features that if you're selling retail, it might not look so good because it's made to buy large orders, huge orders in bulk. And so it's made for that specifically. However, we know that themes can kind of be customized to do whatever you want. And so if you are looking for a new theme, this is the newest theme made by Shopify. I've been doing this a long time. I actually don't remember the last time they created a new theme. They sunset a lot of themes and they introduced 2.0 themes, and that's been kind of out for a while now. But the introduction of a new theme is kind of a fun thing to highlight. Just keep in mind, if you're a retail store, you might want to turn off any B2B features so people don't buy your things in B2B and don't think you're a B2B website, or maybe just look at a retail theme. But it's definitely fun and exciting to see a new theme being released. Maybe they'll release a new retail theme soon, who knows? Okay, so we have another massive update here, and this is for Markets Pro. So Markets Pro is one step up above Markets. So we have Markets here, and then one step above that is Markets Pro. Markets Pro is now going to be named Managed Markets. I personally like saying Markets Pro more, but I think the words Managed Markets describes what this does a lot better than Markets Pro. So it says right here, very succinctly, include duties and taxes and regional prices, avoid selling restricted products, secure better shipping rates, and edit existing orders for more international buyer-friendly experiences with Managed Markets. Remember, if you've been running Shopify stores for a while and you know the term Markets Pro, Managed Markets is now what the name for Markets Pro is. What's going on here is that when you're selling to markets, meaning other countries in this aspect, there's a lot of things that you have to consider. You have to consider specific couriers who can sell and ship to your specific markets. You have to consider if your products are available to sell in those countries, depending on the country's specific laws. You have to understand that each country has different tariffs and taxes and trade agreements based on different countries and also different continents. And so when you're selling in different markets, there's a lot of things that need to be understood. Markets Pro, which is now called Managed Markets, is Shopify's product that does a lot of that for you. So we can read this over again. Include duties and taxes and regional prices. So that means if you're using Markets Pro, I gotta keep saying Markets Pro. This is gonna have to say it in. Managed Markets is now Managed Markets is what Markets Pro is now called. And so one feature on Managed Markets is that you can include the duties and the taxes in regional prices at checkout. You can avoid selling restricted products, like selling a product or even a order amount to a specific country, because there are specific countries that don't allow e-commerce carts to be higher or lower than a specific subtotal. Secure better shipping rates with Markets Pro or Managed Markets, now that it's called Managed Markets. There's a lot of shipping with DHL, and edit existing orders for international buyer experience. And so these are the updates below talking about all that. So number one here is include duties in your product prices, where the benefit of this is you can avoid unexpected costs at checkout by including duties and taxes as part of the product price for international buyers, right? This would not show up if you're selling domestically. You know, if you're in the United States and you're selling to a United States customer, there would never be any duties when the customer receives it. But if you're selling this steel table and stool internationally from the US, maybe to any other country, maybe something in Europe or Asia, there could be specific duties and taxes. There could be specific trade agreements for this product. And then it gets very product specific. You know, if you're selling electronics, you're selling food, or you're selling makeup with those sort of ingredient lists. The list is extensive. And so to understand the price of these products, understand the shipping, and understand the business agreements between countries and the restrictions per product is overwhelming for individual business owner. So that's why the product Managed Markets Shopify has here, which was Markets Pro, now Managed Markets, is a service that Shopify offers. A certain eligibility, I'm sure, for Managed Markets, but essentially if you use Managed Markets, there's an extra transaction fee on the order, and that's how it's paid. It's a paid service. Right here is what we were talking about with regional selling. So understand regional selling restrictions. So know which products are restricted from sale in certain regions and why. With Managed Markets now offering clear notifications, publication statuses, and product index filtering. So that's exactly what we're talking about. If you're selling internationally, you might not know, you probably won't know what items are restricted from certain regions or for specific countries or specific continents. That's what a feature of Managed Markets can do. There's an update here that is in early access here. It says you can request access by clicking this button. That's why looking at these summer and winter editions is always fun, because there's a lot of request access to specific features if you wanted them. This update here for Markets Pro, now called Managed Markets, is introducing UPS. You can now unlock UPS worldwide expedited shipping and UPS standard to Canada and Mexico with better rates and duties paid up front. That's a big deal because With Markets Pro previously, you would only ship with DHL. And so now you have a few more shipping options for UPS. So that's kind of a bigger update. This update here isn't talking about Markets Pro or Managed Markets anymore. It's just talking about instead of creating a completely new market from your admin, you can expand easier by just tweaking the existing one. Just a little reminder there. And so the idea of Markets Pro or Managed Markets isn't a new product being released this edition. It's been around for a while, but the name is changing. Managed Markets is now Markets Pro, that's for sure. And there are a few new features, as we can see request access here, and we can see request new access here, and we can see there's a new shipping options here. But it also introduces the general idea. If you're new to e-commerce and you're thinking about just selling all over the world, it can be very difficult. There's a lot of questions that start being introduced. What if you sell to one country and the customer receives it and there's taxes and duties all over it? What happens if they don't pick it up? Who pays those duties? Who pays those taxes? What happens if it gets sent back to me? Do I have to pay taxes? Do I have to pay duties? There's so much stuff that goes into these things when selling internationally. So when you're just starting out, usually it's better just to stick with your primary market, maybe the big four, which means Canada, USA, UK, and Australia. If you're in Europe, maybe just stick with Europe. Just starting off small instead of just saying, I'm going to sell to every country in the world might be a better solution. And then when you start to expand, you start to grow, and you're considering all of these things like duties and prices and restrictions and all these shipping rates and stuff like that, you might want to look into Managed Markets and take a look at that. This is kind of fun. This is the second new theme being introduced in this editions. The theme above wasn't really introduced in editions. It's been out for a little bit now, maybe a month or so, but I haven't heard anything about this. We can see a new theme and fonts for Japan. So it says merchants in Japan can now use the default theme with 17 different Japanese fonts to choose from. So if we find the Rise theme on the Shopify theme store, it kind of looks like this. Ooh. Very nice. This was released on June 20th. All themes that are made by Shopify are free, but we can see some unique features here that would be important to Japanese merchants. We can see what this would look like here and here. Very, very nice. Obviously, the standout is the fonts and the style that would be needed for Japanese commerce. But what's interesting is that I truly don't remember the last time a new theme was introduced. And so now we're seeing two new themes introduced in quick succession. If you're not a Japanese merchant, you're not going to be using this theme, but it introduces the idea that maybe we're going to be seeing a lot more themes come out. If we see any more themes come out, I'll definitely be covering them right away, so make sure you subscribe. But that's got me intrigued to see what more themes are going to be. Here we can see a bunch of updates specifically for specific countries. A couple of notable things here is that Shopify introduced this cookie banner in the settings, as the collection of cookies and personal information when browsing the internet is a big topic in today's day and age of internet usage. And so Shopify introduced a new setting called the cookie banner. You can go to your settings and there's a whole settings setting that you can set up. And one of the settings that it includes by default is the cookie banner. And one of the expansion things that they're doing here is they're introducing the cookie banner to be translated into 32 languages. Another notable thing here is USD payouts available in Canada. So the update here says Shopify payments can pay out in both US and Canadian dollars, saving you fees for conversion. Unfortunately, it only says that this feature is available for advanced and Shopify plans at this time, but we know how these things trickle down over time, so it's good to know. But it says for businesses based in Canada, managing payouts in both Canadian dollar and USD dollar, this can be achieved by connecting two separate bank accounts. Each currency's transactions is processed into its respective bank account. So for example, orders in Canadian currency are routed to the Canadian bank account, and orders in USD currency are paid out in your USD bank account. This is really interesting and important for Canadian merchants as it trickles down, because Canada is one of the only countries that can be paid out in two different currencies. As we can see, here's the store location and here are the available payout currencies. In Canada, you can set up a Canadian dollar payout bank account or a United States dollar. We can see kind of a similar thing for Czechia, Denmark, Romania, Sweden, Switzerland. But other than those, this is quite unique to Canada, and I think that'll affect a lot of Canadian merchants. Okay, so we have entered the realm of the world's best checkout, as Shopify always proclaims. They're always talking about their world's best checkout because there are some statistics about how much better Shopify's checkout compared to other checkouts are. And they always tout this. But one interesting update that's coming here is split shipping in checkout. So this gives customers more clarity and choice at checkout by showing them when an order will be split into multiple shipments. They can choose the lowest price, the fastest delivery, or custom shipping options. Very interesting. We can see that it looks like this is in pre-release, as it says here. You can get notified. You can put your email there and get notified when it's in pre-release or be selected for pre-release. Yes, in fact, we can confirm this on the help doc. It says early access. So split shipping and checkout is in early access and is available to only some Shopify stores. Okay, so this is quite a big update, and I think this affects a lot of people. Unfortunately, it's only in pre-release, which kind of sucks, but see where this goes from here. But I think this impacts a lot of people. This impacts dropshippers who are using different inventory and supplier apps, print-on-demand businesses who are using different print-on-demand apps. If you have multiple locations, multiple fulfillment warehouses, this is all very interesting. So basically the update is saying that before you would only have one single checkout option. You'd have like standard or express for all of the orders. Even though, the orders might be coming from different warehouses, different apps, they'll have different times and different speeds and all this stuff. Obviously, the customer would be updated via email afterwards, but I think this is a really good feature. I don't think this is implemented quite enough on e-commerce. We just buy the order and then we let the company fulfill it to us after. And then how many times do you buy a big order with a bunch of items and then you get many different emails saying, oh, it's coming in 3, 4, 5, 6 different orders. And so this gives the customer more communication. This gives the customer the ability to select, the lowest price or free or on some or the fastest on another. Say it's a big order and they needed something quicker. They could select the faster shipping option on this one and they could leave the rest. They can select free, slower shipping on this. This is very interesting. This I think is a good idea. I think it's going to impact a lot of people and we'll stay tuned for that. There's an interesting update here that is only for Plus, but I do want to talk about it for a second because there was an update actually recently that is interesting. So remember we're talking about the trickle down effect, how these updates are added and then it kind of trickles down to more plans in more countries and more languages and all that. So one update here is a new Shopify app that looks like this and it's called Checkout Blocks. It says Checkout Blocks is now free. So possibly it was a paid app before, but now it's free. But this is a Shopify exclusive to Plus only. And that's because Shopify Blocks is a way you can customize your checkout. As we know on Shopify stores, if you're not a Plus member, you can customize almost every page of your Shopify store to however you'd like it, except the checkout page. The checkout page is specifically made to not be customizable, so it can maintain its security and its functionality and its speed and customers' transaction and your payouts are recorded, confirmed, and processed accordingly. We don't want people editing this process for no reason. But it is one page that does lack customization. And if you've branded your entire store with a certain color scheme or typography or anything like that, it looks kind of funny just having a blank checkout page. So one way that they're going about this is they're instituting this new app called Checkout Blocks. And it kind of looks like this, where you can just customize certain features, certain colors, certain areas, like sections and blocks in all your other areas of your store. But the reason I wanted to mention that is because there was a recent update that I'll probably do a video on this as well specifically that for the first time showed a little bit of this trickle down effect for basic merchants. We saw that there was a recent update that allowed us to customize 2 pages on our checkout page. But if you're ever wondering, why can't I customize a checkout? That's why. And if you're ever wondering, is there any way you can't customize your checkout? Well, there's a little update recently that allowed you to customize a couple pages, like the thank you page after the checkout. And now we're seeing this app Checkout Blocks, and hopefully we see it trickle down at one point. So this is the update that I was just referring to. So it says customize more pages with apps. So it says all plans can now use apps to add functionality to the thank you and the order status pages. That's it. So the checkout page, I guess, encompasses a lot of pages technically. It used to be 3 pages. Now it's 1 page. And then on the 1 page, once that's confirmed, it would go to the thank you and the order status page after. Shopify is now allowing all plans to customize a little bit their thank you and their order status page. That's the update that came the other month, this month, I think. And so it's not super customizable. There's not that much you can do with a thank you or an order status page, but it does allow you some extra blocks, as we can see here. We can add a customer banner, a post-purchase survey, a thank you and order status. We can add that here, and it goes into the block, into the section, and then we can customize our thank you page. And now it looks like this. Maybe you can add a review or more information, or to capture more information from the customer or anything like that. This is a big deal. I think this is a big deal because it's just been for the longest time. No, you cannot touch the checkout page. You can't do it. No, it's only on Plus. And so it's interesting to see, Plus having some extra functionality here and all plans adding some functionality here. So we can't wait to see what happens in the future. But if you wanted to update your thank you or your order status pages, and in fact, here's a great graph describing what we can do and can't. So access to the checkout and accounts editor, you can do that on all plans, as we can see here. Eligible apps that customize the thank you and the order status page, specifically those two pages, we can do that now on all plans. That's the new thing that we can never do before. This is a brand new thing brought to all plans. Then there's eligible apps like Checkout Blocks app right here that customize information, shipping and pages and payment pages. This still can't be done on all plans, only a Shopify Plus exclusive here. And then access to checkout branding API, only exclusive to Plus here. Maybe one day we'll see this chart fill out. And I feel like possibly that's the way it's going. So we'll keep an eye on that. And that introduces us to this idea. Another interesting update here, only for Plus, no word about this for any other plans, is to automate payment capture when part of the specific order is fulfilled. As we know, this is a big headache for all plans right now when you have multiple locations or split fulfillments or split shipping. So it's good to see them starting to address a little bit of this. But essentially what would happen here is this part would be, this item would be fulfilled and paid. This item is fulfilled and paid. And then this item is fulfilled and paid. That's a Shopify Plus feature being introduced. Maybe we'll see it trickle down later. This is a huge update actually. And this is introducing us to a brand new term that I actually haven't even heard of before in all my years of doing this. And this is called commerce components. Commerce components. So it says the Shop Pay component, Shop Pay is this, Shop Pay is checkout, your Shop Pay account, allows customers to choose to buy online and pick up in store. And we have this nice interactive guide where it shows us you can ship it to the address, you can pick it up, and then we can choose all different kinds of options here. The update is talking about pick up in store, but the main idea behind this is Shop Pay component and commerce components. What is that? So Shop Pay component is the ability to add Shop Pay to your existing checkout, no matter the platform. And so this doesn't really play into any of us if we're running our stores on Shopify, but an interesting new development here, I haven't really heard of this before. Maybe it's been introduced previously, but who knows, is the ability to add Shop Pay to a checkout off of the Shopify platform. So it has all of these features. You can look at these statistics if you'd like, as there's a lot of research and study behind the well-performing Shop Pay checkout. But this is very interesting. This is almost like the Buy with Prime button. I did a whole video about Buy with Prime, I think almost a year ago now, where a Amazon Prime member could use their Amazon Prime benefits on another platform if they introduced a Buy with Prime option at their checkout. This is the same deal with Shop Pay. So Shop Pay is a checkout method with a customer account. And instead of a business who isn't on Shopify coming all the way over to Shopify to gain this, there's a way to use Shop Pay and commerce components to add the Shop Pay to the checkout method of their store on the platform that they are currently using. Very, very interesting stuff. All right, and so we see a bunch of updates here kind of thrown together. Some of them are exclusive to Plus, as we can see exclusive to Plus here. If you see anything that says checkout extensibility, that's the way you customize checkout on Plus. Checkout extensibility here and here. This is a Plus feature as well. A couple of interesting things to note here, though, are shipping options, number 75 here, for subscriptions. So it says customers can choose a shipping speed for their first subscription delivery and with recurring shipments defaulting to the cheapest option thereafter. That's pretty good. And so it's broken down perfectly here. When an order includes subscriptions, the shipping method section includes the following sections, the additional sections. The first section, where customers can select the shipping method for their order, this section applies to the initial delivery of all items in the orders, including subscriptions and one-time purchases. Then, the recurring payment section. This displays the shipping method, transit time, cost, and delivery frequency for each recurring shipment included in the order. That's very good. I think that's very good. Nice little improvement there. And again, it introduces us to the topic of Shopify subscriptions. Usually that's in these editions quite heavily. But I think what happened was last winter in Winter Editions 24, the Shopify subscription app was released in full, and now I don't really see much about it anymore, probably because it was released in full last editions. So if you're just starting Shopify, or if you've been running a store for a while and you don't have a subscription method, or you're planning your business, perhaps think of an idea to integrate subscriptions as a way to generate recurring revenue, customer loyalty, and these sort of things. The second thing that I noticed here that stands out is number 77 here, Shop Pay Installments pre-qualification. This helps customers feel more confident at checkout by showing them if they are pre-qualified to buy now and pay later with Shop Pay Installments. So Shop Pay Installments is another payment method within Shopify Payments. Shop Pay Installments is a way where customers can buy a large order in multiple payments. This is kind of common, but Shopify's solution to that is called Shop Pay Installments. And Shop Pay Installments kind of looks like this, where we see a very large item here, this maple sideboard, and some financing options here. 174.21 a month for 6 months, or 90.35 a month for 12 months. And then you can see if you qualify here. You can check your purchasing power here. And that is what this update is talking about. The pre-qualification to give shoppers more confidence. All right, so let's jump into AI. Ever since Summer Editions 23, where they introduced all their AI, Shopify Magic and Sidekick, every editions, I am at the edge of my seat to see what they'll come up with and what is released to all of us. And this is the little purple icon that we're always looking for. This is Sidekick. Sidekick is your personal Shopify assistant. This was introduced in Summer 23 editions and is not released yet. But the update it looks like that we have here is that thousands of stores can now use Sidekick to tackle time-consuming tasks, jumpstart creativity, and make better business decisions with expert-tailored advice. Oh, that's a little bit of a letdown. So again, it looks like it's still in pre-release. It's not released yet, but sounds like there are thousands of stores that can now use Sidekick. So I'm not sure what that means, if that was just early access or if it's been released to some plans. There's not much information on it. If I scroll down to the Sidekick page on Shopify Magic's homepage, we still see that it is in early access here. This is the way it was in Winter Editions, and it still says that you can sign up here. So possibly, if you wanted to sign up, maybe it's been released for a few. It says 1,000 stores. I sign up for these things. I never hear back for these things, so I wonder how it is determined. But Sidekick is a really intriguing product. We see now in the Shopify Help Center a form of AI with this Help Center assistant that can tell you a lot of things about the Shopify Help Center. Sidekick is your personal Shopify assistant. And so it would be able to do things for you based on your specific products, and it lives in your Shopify admin. So it gives us a little demonstration here, and we can move his eyes all the way around. That's kind of fun. But for example, some of the prompts in the Help Center you would ask are like, what is this? Or what is managed markets? Or what are domains? And these kind of things, right? With Sidekick, I suppose you could probably ask that too, but the idea here is that it would do time-consuming tasks for you, jumpstart creativity, and just do things for you, okay? So for example, if I click this here, it fills in how do I create a bundle, and I search, it would give us the instructions here and maybe be able to do this for us. Another example, create a discount for my summer sales. So this is a search query. This is an action that you want it to do for you. If I search this, it will do the task for us. And this is the point of time-consuming tasks being done for us, just with a search query. Again, we can see the prompt, create a collection for all my products that are on sale. And we give it the prompt, and it would do this for us. Give my store a retro vibe. This is about store design. It would suggest some colors, typography, some titles and descriptions, and then also show me a list of customers who abandoned checkouts last week. And this is talking about customer segmentation, and it would give us this information. That last prompt, I'm just going to jump ahead here to this blue bracket here, is kind of what it's describing in this update. So it says AI for marketing, segmentation in plain language. So it says Shopify Magic now translate the Shopify QL code for a segment into a simple description that's easier to understand. So if you've been doing things for a while, you understand kind of what you're looking for here, but it's just a way of translating kind of this mumbo jumbo here into more plain text to understand. So if I click here, this plain text prompt is what this Shopify QL code is telling us. So what we're looking at here is customers. So we have 1,000 customers in our store, and we want to segment these customers for marketing activities, maybe email marketing or marketing automations or specific discount codes or specific sales. And so we segment these customers into a lot of different categories. In this segment, what we're telling it to do is look at a specific storefront collection, specifically this one. This ID doesn't mean anything, but this ID is an actual collection on your store. Maybe it's an on sale collection or a clearance collection. And we're telling it to look within the 1,000 customers who looked at this collection since January 1st, 2024, at least twice, but not past a maximum of 10 times, maybe to account for bots or spam or unwanted traffic. Create a segment of customers from our 1,000 customer base and show me those customers. And so this is exactly what this segmentation in plain language is telling us. This graph, this Shopify QL means the exact same thing. So customers who have viewed the table lamps or floor lamps collection, as we can see a comma here actually, so collection ID, 2 different collection IDs. This equals the table lamp collection or the floor lamp collection. Between 2 and 10 times since January 1st, 2024, show me a market segmentation about that. And maybe that can be used for email marketing. Maybe you have a sale on those 2 collections and you can send them to those. Email marketing or just marketing in general and customer segmentation is super powerful, extremely powerful. And I think this is a great update. All right, so we have another update in quotes here where it says suggested replies in inbox. So Inbox or Shopify Inbox is a made and developed app by Shopify, which helps you communicate with your customers. You can do this by downloading the Shopify Inbox app, and it allows you to have a live chat icon on the bottom of your storefront for free. And then you can reply to customer questions in real time. You can email them back. You can send them discount codes and all kinds of stuff. So it says eligible stores will soon be able to quickly answer customer questions in Shopify Inbox with AI generated replies that understand your business. That is super powerful and super time saving. So for example, here we have a customer question come in through Shopify Inbox. So they would click the little icon in the corner, they would send us this and we would see their response. If we're live at the time, we have our phone or whatever, we can reply to them. Or when this is released to more stores, again, we can see get notified or maybe sign up early here. The AI, Shopify Magic, can pre-create a response to us, and we can click send reply here, and this is what it would do for us. That's extremely powerful and extremely helpful. I just hope that these features are available to all plans and it doesn't come out to be a Plus exclusive or anything like that, because we've been waiting and waiting for Sidekick, and we've been waiting and waiting for this. So we hope to see it soon, and we like to see the updates on those. This update here is kind of what we were talking about above at the very beginning for product taxonomy, for product categories and attributes. And again, we can see the purple here. Once again, if you ever see any purple, like here, or the purple sparkles, that indicates a Shopify AI product or a Shopify Magic product, and it is being generated by AI. And so this is, again, just talking about the product attributes, values, and taxonomy being automatically added or recommended to you, which we talked about at the beginning. And then we have a really big update here. This was the biggest update in Winter Editions 24 at the beginning of this year. So it says enhancing images everywhere. This is talking about the Shopify's own AI image editor, which is extremely powerful, right? Last year, AI came out, completely revolutionized a lot of content tasks. Titles, descriptions, contents, blogs. And now we see that this is changing to photos and videos. And so one of the biggest, probably the biggest release last Winter Editions is this AI background generator for your product images. So it says instantly transform ordinary photos into professional product images with the AI powered media editor, now on mobile and coming soon to more places across the admin. So the update here specifically is that the AI image editor is now coming to mobile, but it, again, if you haven't been using this, introduces the idea of the AI image editor. Essentially what this is doing is creating amazing product images for you. You would just have your base image, whether you took that yourself or you got the image from a supplier or a drop shipping app. You can use Shopify's AI powered media editor here, and it can generate professional looking backdrops and background images for you. You can put in a prompt here, or you can select the suggestions here. And this really makes your website and your brand and your style and your tone a lot more holistic and a lot more professional. We have this whole connect with customer segment, but this is mainly exclusive to Plus almost extensively. It introduces us to some products like Shopify Audiences. This is a way to run very targeted ads within Shopify, only exclusive to Plus. We can see exclusive to Plus here, exclusive to Plus here, exclusive to Plus here. So we're just going to skip ahead this for now. This is kind of a fun little update for the Shop app and the Shop marketplace. The Shop app or the Shop Marketplace is a massive marketplace for Shopify merchants. It's like the Amazon Marketplace, except all the merchants on the Shop app are Shopify store specifically. And so it's just another sales channel where you can get your products in and you can kind of make another little store for it. It's very fun. The update here is that it is introducing some more Shop minis, apps. So Shop minis help you customize what your Shop store looks like, because the Shop channel is another online marketplace. It doesn't really use your online store. You can use things like Shop mini apps. In this case, it's introducing simple bundles, and this bundle kit and cross sell here. Kind of put it together, and this is what your Shop storefront would look like in a way. We have some updates here below that are kind of chunked together. Some worth mentioning is that it looks like the Shopify email app has some extra deliverability insights here, and maybe some more templates for editing features. Nothing really to get into super thoroughly there. We also see this update here again for the Shopify Forms app that we saw a few months ago in the changelog. The Shopify Forms app, if you've never heard it before, is a way to introduce a form on your page, like a pop-up when you visit a website, like you have 10% off, put in your email code. Here's our book, our PDF, our ebook, put in your email code. Shopify Forms is a free app that can do that for you. One of the updates that we saw a few months ago was the ability to redirect customers to a specific URL of your choice when they submit a form. So previously, forms were just for, put in your email and you'll get a special email or a discount code or something. Now, if they put in their email of some sort, they can be redirected to a new URL. So that's really interesting. That could be used in a lot of ways. It could really get you brainstorming on that. But another thing I wanted to mention here in email marketing, number 99, is you can share marketing automations. So it says you can import, export, and duplicate marketing automations from other stores or partners to use across all your stores. That's really interesting. It says to use across all your stores, but I feel like in a way, this can be used to import, export, or duplicate flows, say from the Shopify community. And so this is talking about Shopify Flow, but the update specifically mentions marketing automations, and it says email marketing. So email marketing flows and Shopify Flow work the same way. They work in triggers and distinctions and kind of if conditions and check this, do this, and wait 3 months, send this. This is kind of the flow it's talking about. It's found in the email marketing app and the Shopify Flow app. And so if there's a way, and so the issue with this is that they give you a lot of templates that you can use for free, as you know. But if you're creating your own flows and your own setups, it can become quite complex and quite overwhelming to the point that you might not even use it. And so if it almost sounds like they're starting to give away to maybe even just create a library of pre-made marketing automations and marketing flows from partners of some sort. If you look on the Shopify community, there's all sorts of partner submitted, custom coded solutions to individual questions. It sounds like maybe it's kind of the same thing. That would be really helpful. We have some new updates here in fulfillment, and these 3 very large, colorful blocks that's worth mentioning, and it's the added ability to ship to and from retail stores. So this is just giving customers greater flexibility and convenience in how they receive their orders. You can transfer online orders to preferred store locations or ship products directly to a store using a Shopify POS. And that kind of continues down here where you can ship to any store. So you can enable store transfers to easily transfer inventory to any retail location for pickup. So customers can choose to collect online orders from their most convenient store location. So we can see here where we can see the pickup location selected here, and then the store transfers, which you can enable or disable here. And then on the right side, you can ship from any store. So you can buy and print shipping labels in the POS and turn your retail location into a mini fulfillment center. That's quite interesting. So you have your POS here, and this is behind the smart grid, and I can click purchase label here, and we can print our Shopify shipping label and turn your retail location into a mini fulfillment center. I love the way that sounds. That really opens the horizons of what a in-person retail location can be, what a POS location can be. This is a small little update here on the left, but I think it's quite impactful. It says find and fix address errors. So you reduce failed deliveries on orders across all your channels because you can manage all your channels from the Shopify admin. And this way you can see flagged address issues in the admin with suggestions and content to fix it. So this is when a customer inputs an address that might be wrong, and that will cause orders if you ever send stuff or orders to that customer. So here we can see it citing that the shipping address in this address may be incorrect. It states Oshawa. And if I hover over here, it says Ottawa. So I can now use the suggestion, and that will change the customer information within the customer settings within my ad. Looking into this a little closer, it says that address validation is only available for shipping in the following countries. This list, I see the example here says Canada, but I don't actually see Canada on this list, which is kind of strange. Ooh, this was in the news the other day, and it's interesting to see here. So Marketplace Connects joins Target. So it says approved brands can now sell to millions of monthly visitors on Target.com through a new partnership with Shopify Marketplace Connect. So this is the Shopify Marketplace Connect app right here. And the Shopify Marketplace Connect app is free made and developed app by Shopify. And that allows you to connect and sell to different partners straight from your Shopify admin. So you can use your Shopify admin to sell to a lot of sales channels like Etsy and eBay and Amazon and these things. And so with the Marketplace Connect app, there are a few partnerships. One of the few partnerships that are already there are like Walmart and Amazon and these things. And so what they're saying here is they're introducing a new partner, Target. So if you are looking to expand, there's eligibility requirements and all these sort of things for all these products. But if you're using the Marketplace Connect app, you might want to look into using Target partnership if you're eligible. As we can see here in this little update here, it also mentions Marketplace Connect. It says, you can easily add category and type on Amazon. Again, just showing you what Marketplace Connect is and what it can do. Connect your Shopify admin and different sales channels like Target now and Amazon and Walmart and these sort of things. But another one I do want to introduce is this one here, 109. It says Shop Promise is more widely available. So it says now all eligible US stores can increase conversions with the trusted Shop Promise badge. Shopify has a lot of these badges. You might notice the more common Shopify badge, the made for Shopify badge that's on a lot of apps in the App Store. Another badge that they have is called the Shop Promise app. And what the Shop Promise app is essentially is a way to add a little badge to a shipping profile or shipping rate at checkout that uses your previous order and fulfillment history to accurately determine if that shipping rate will be delivered to the customer within 5 days, I believe, just to give the customer more confidence in the shipping rates that they're selecting. And so they know, it doesn't just say 5 business days or whatever it is. It will most likely actually get there in 5 business days. And so that's what the Shop Promise badge is. If you're in the US and you're looking to add a little optimization to your shipping and your checkout. All right. And right here at the bottom, we have our big final update of the video. And this is coming to all stores and will impact a lot of people. Shopify is redoing their analytics again. I feel like they update their analytics again. They update their dashboard quite a bit, but they're reintroducing an all new analytics platform to centralize some operations. So it says we've built our analytics tech stack to make it faster, more flexible, and more intuitive. Get deeper insights about your store's performance in real time. And soon use Shopify QL to query your data right inside a report. And so, of course, if you're on Shopify stores, you'll notice this looks a lot different, a lot more colorful. I like colors. The more colors, the better. But the main point here is not only its look and its style and its customization that are always there. But the big deal about this is that your analytics are going to be updated in real time, it states. So Shopify analytics are updated as often as they can. And Shopify also has a live view, as you can see right here on the video, which should show you, your up-to-date live view analytics. And so what they're doing is they're making this faster, more flexible, more intuitive, more customizable, making it look a lot nicer with a lot more colors, and they're also making it update in real time. This is coming to all plans, they say, in the coming months. So you don't have to sign up for early release, but you can click this button here to get notified when it's out. But I'm sure you'll see when it changes on your admin. It says it'll be out in the coming months for all Shopify plans. Here's my thing with analytics. When you're using analytics, in my opinion, it's best practice to use your analytics to compare one period to another period. Rarely do I find myself looking at my analytics, needing to know what is happening live time. I feel like the idea behind live time analytics is if you're releasing, if you're, a big company and you have a big sale and you want to see how well it's doing, you want to see if everything's working correctly, you want to gain sale analytics and metrics to start doing calculations on where you need to optimize or if anything's going wrong. That's kind of the idea behind live time analytics. And it is always in the left side of the screen, there's a live time view. But the thing with analytics is it's very hard to verify if the analytics are accurate. For example, if you have Shopify analytics and you have Google Analytics and you have your Facebook Analytics. If you compare all of these analytical platforms at the exact same time period, all three of these analytic platforms will tell you different information. That's just the way the analytic platforms are built. You would think that if there's 5 people on the website, all three of these platforms will show 5 people at the website if you're looking at the exact same metric. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. And so it always raises the question for me, how do you actually know these analytics are correct? You know, if you have an in-person store and you look at the clock at 12 o'clock every day and you just count the number of people physically in your store, you can tell who's in your store. But how do you actually know these analytics are correct and working correctly? I feel like you can't, especially if you sell internationally or over large countries. You can't tell how many people are in your store at the same time. And sometimes, you know, you get orders and your analytics will say there's no conversions or there's no information. If you look at such a short time period, you look at it live. So in my opinion, you know, this is great. I can't wait to see, you know, how the live analytics and live tracking work compared to what they have now. All about it. Very excited for it. But I find the best use of analytics is just comparing time periods, comparing an optimization that you've done in one period and A/B testing for what that optimization is doing for a certain metric, like your site visits, your conversion rate, your AOV, comparing it to different time periods to see if those optimizations and those A/B testings are making a positive impact or a negative impact. I feel like that's the best way you can use your analytics instead of always keeping your eye on the screen. You know, you get notifications when you get orders and all this stuff all the time, but just taking an analytic deep dive, you know, maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, or seeing the impact of a major theme update, page update, to see the difference. I feel like that's the best way to use analytics. This is also a very interesting update. It doesn't really have to do with analytics, more so organization. You know, we're in the centralized operation tab now. It says all plans soon will be able to efficiently manage billing, staff access, and more for multiple stores by combining them all under a single organization. That's very, very fascinating to hear because that's exactly kind of what Plus is. With Shopify Plus, if you don't know, Shopify Plus works very differently than like retail stores. But usually one of the main things you have with Plus is you have multiple stores all kind of being controlled under this one central operational unit in the middle here. So it's very interesting to see all plans will be able to efficiently manage billing, staff access, and more for multiple stores by combining them all under a single organization. Really wonder how that's going to be because someone like me, I actually run multiple Shopify stores. And so this one really piqued my interest. There's not any more information about this. This is just a get notified email that you can sign up for. But if you know, or maybe you don't know, if you have multiple Shopify stores, you can just kind of access them in the top right of your screen. And then you just kind of switch stores for settings, which I find is not too bad, to be honest, because everything's organized by store. And so very interested to see maybe winter editions if this is coming out. Haven't heard anything about this before. Always thought this was a Plus feature. So interesting to see. Soon all plans will be able to have this. All right, and way down at the bottom here, we have a little small admin update that I'm pretty sure is live now. It says a context-aware top navigational bar. It's talking about this bar right at the top here that seems to always undergo changes and improvements. It says we've reimagined navigation, replacing traditional buttons and models with a sleek, intuitive top bar that adapts seamlessly to the task at hand. And so the demo that we have here is showing us if we input a title name here, but we don't save it, and then we try to navigate to another page, it won't let us because it's context aware and it's intuitive. So it shakes, it gives us a little thing, and we have to click save here before we do it. Now that it's saved, now the title product is saved, now it turns into a search bar, which we can then use or use our hotkey here to search for another area. That's a fun little update. We have some more updates down here. 4 of these actually, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are about flow, which I'm not going to get into that much. It just seems like that's always undergoing a lot of updates here. There is a for easier access and how to use automations and that sort of thing. There is a little update here that says find apps when you need them. So it says find prioritized apps across the admin with new discovery entry points, embedded action cards, and contextualized guidance. That kind of just sounds like if you're scrolling around your admin, you might see different areas where different apps could be recommended. Maybe guides, contextualized guidance will pop up. And that's kind of interesting. Down here, we have a bunch of updates for developers, which I don't cover on this channel. But if you're into that sort of thing, APIs and extensions, liquid, hydrogen, oxygen, you can check out that for that. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it all the way, and we are fully informed of all of these updates coming soon. Very exciting. What did you guys think of this year's summer editions? I feel like, again, it covers a lot of topics, a well done website. Again, kind of lacking on AI. I don't think there's actually a new AI product, which it kind of ruins the streak from summer editions and winter editions, but that's okay. We have a lot of other features, especially with markets, managed markets, analytics are changing. We have a lot of updates that will definitely impact all merchants, which is kind of good to see. And that's kind of what I want to see in summer editions. You don't want summer editions or winter editions to always be about plus or advanced or POS. And so it's kind of nicely broken down here. And we have our top 10 here. Again, wants to review, store credits and speed performance. We have huge product taxonomy up. Oh, that's right. We had our AI update to the built-in taxonomy for the product categorization. That's actually a huge update. It's not so flashy like a image background AI generator, but this might be even more helpful than that. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We have completed the video. Hopefully this has helped. If this has helped, please leave a like on the video so I know, as I just like helping fellow entrepreneurs. I like building a community of like-minded fellow Shopify entrepreneurs that love learning, love hard work, and are always interested to see what's new. So if you're into that, subscribe to the channel. It's free. If you like these update videos, I make a once a month update video going through the Shopify changelog to explore all of the latest and greatest features coming to the platform. Summer Editions is the best update video. And we see actually a lot of updates from the changelog in Editions. And so if you like these updates, you can actually subscribe to the channel and watch my once a month update video, and you can see right away some of these changes and when they're implemented and they are reworked into Editions. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this has helped. I really hope this gets you brainstorming and gets you excited for what's to come on Shopify and what's to come for your own businesses. If you really liked it, click subscribe. And if you do, I'll see you in the next video.